Everybody's got to eat, but everybody wants to do it without burning a hole in their pocket at the same time. Let me show you some of the rules that I live by to help ensure that I still get to eat as much as I want while saving money and not crying because of how bland or boring the food might be. And this one is an interesting one. I've never seen this rule or this idea plastered anywhere. This is just a personal thing that I've sort of come up with while I've been doing my own meal plans. I've been doing meal plans for myself since I was like 18 years old. So it's been nearly 10 years where every week I have a plan that I go through, and every week the plan has a simple rule. The rule that I usually live by, sometimes I don't do it, but it's like 9 weeks out of 10, I'm cooking 3 chicken meals, 1 fish meal, 1 vegetarian meal, and then like 2 beef or like other protein, like pork or whatever, or lamb, like it might be. The main reason for this is chicken's actually pretty cheap. You also, if you're looking potentially at like environmental impacts and all that sort of stuff, it's a more sustainable source of protein than others. It's also the leanest. If I am trying to bulk up and I am trying to like reduce the amount of fat I'm having, these 3 chicken meals in a week, super good for me. Fish, because it's obviously, again, good for you, omega-3s, all that kind of stuff. Good for variety. The vegetarian meal, if I'm doing the vegetarian meal, I obviously, like the rest of the meals that I'm having, I'm stacking up with heaps of protein. Like, I'm not eating a vegetarian meal because I want to be vegetarian. I'm eating a vegetarian meal for the money impacts it has. Because obviously, vegetables are cheaper than protein. And the 2 beef dishes or the 2 other protein dishes, whether it's pork, whether it's lamb, whatever it might be, it's because I like to eat it. I'm not going through a week where I don't get to have like a spaghetti bolognese or a burger or like bangers and mash or something. I'm putting things I like to eat in there. So when the majority of what I'm having is like money saving, I still get to have something that I enjoy. Because like I said, I want to be doing this so that I do benefit, on the money side of things, but I want to enjoy what I eat. Everybody wants to enjoy what they eat. This next one might not be as obvious to some people as I feel like it should be, but when you are cooking dinner, like when you are cooking a meal for yourself, like don't just cook enough for one meal. Cook enough so that you can have another meal or another 2 meals. If I make myself dinner, I'm making myself enough for the next day. So I know that I'm never going to go and buy takeaway food for lunch. I haven't bought takeaway food for lunch in the last 6 months. And that's been something that I've really prided myself on, because I know that there was a time in my life where I was buying takeaway all the time and the money was just stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. This can be harder in a family situation where you've got, 4 or 5 mouths to feed and then you need to cook on top of that. But if you're a single dude living at home and you're cooking yourself a meal, like make, 4 to 5 servings, make 6 servings. Then not only do you have your dinner, but you potentially have like a breakfast, a lunch, another dinner, and some meals to freeze for later on. Like, make sure that when you are cooking food, you are using that time effectively, because pasta's going to cook the same amount of time to cook when you put it in, and then it's like 100 grams of pasta in the water, or whether it's 400 grams of pasta in the water. Use your time efficiently. Make sure that when you're cooking, benefit from it in the long term. And as well, cooking in bulk like this is going to save you money. Low effort meal prep, because you're not actually going and cooking a whole nother meal and then not eating it. Like, you're already going to eat the meal. Just cook more of it. Some people tend to think that like breakfast is an optional meal. Like, there are so many people out there these days that just have go buy a coffee and then that's breakfast, or like coffee and a dart. You might be a tradie or whatever. Who came up with that idea? It's a terrible idea. You need to eat first and foremost. If you're going through your day and you're starting it by literally just having some coffee, you're going to get to like smoko, or you're going to get to lunch, you're going to be starving. And if you are potentially going and buying food from somewhere, you're going to be starving, you're going to buy more. Make yourself breakfast. Like, breakfast saves money, because the better a breakfast you eat, the less you are going to need to eat later. It's really simple when you look at it, because I make sure that every morning I'm eating a big breakfast, like a big enough breakfast. I think at the moment I'm going like 600 to 800 calories at breakfast. So I know I'm going to at least make it, 10:30, 11 o'clock when I've eaten at, 6 o'clock in the morning. And whether that's you're making, your breakfast the night before, whether it's like overnight oats or like overnight Weet-Bix or something like that, breakfast saves you money. Make sure you are eating it so you don't absolutely purge. Now, meal prepping is a controversial one. I've tried it on and off. I think at the core of it, it's a really good idea, but it might save you money. It doesn't save you time. And what I mean by that is, if you value your time more than you value the money, then meal prepping is not necessarily worth it. If you want to put in all that extra effort, if you want to go through, make all these meals, and then have a separate time that you cook where you are making your lunches or you are prepping dinners for yourself, if that's what you want to do, you are 100% going to save money. Because like I said earlier on, when you're making food, if you're making heaps of it, you're going to save money. Like it's quite a simple mathematical equation. I don't know if you've ever gone to buy like meat in bulk, but if you're buying, I know for example at Aldi, so I do heaps of my shopping at Aldi. If you buy the 2 kilo beef mince, it's like $22, but a 500 gram beef mince is $9. 9 times 4, 36. Like the way that they break down the pricing there, it's like you buy the big one, you save the big bucks. Therefore, if you're cooking that 2 kilos of beef mince into like a bulk thing of spaghetti, the savings there, like, that's not math I can do in my head, but it is going to cost you time. It's that thing of time versus money. The next rule, which is when you are shopping at the supermarket, buy more than you think you need. Because what will happen is if you don't buy enough and you get halfway through the week, or you get to a point where you need to go and buy more food, you're going to buy more stuff. You're going to buy sweet treats that you weren't necessarily thinking about when you went through and did the full shot for the week. You're going to look at the Coke, you're going to look at the ice creams, you're going to look at all of these things, and by the time you grab each of those and put them in the trolley, like, you're spending an extra $20 to $50 that you didn't want to spend. And it's all because you did not, at the time you went for your weekly shop, buy enough food. So sometimes when you buy a little bit more, you're actually going to save. And that will sound counterintuitive, but believe me, go through, try it on the next time you do a weekly shop. If you think you only need 4 bananas, buy 6, buy 7. Like, having those extra snacks for like a couple more days, that's the difference between going down and spending an extra $50 that you didn't need to spend, and just pushing through because you've got food at home. And it comes down to discipline as well. Like, all of these points are about discipline. It's having a rule, implementing it. Nothing in life is ever easy. And if you really want to see the maximum amount of savings you can get on your own weekly food shop throughout your own meals, like, be disciplined, set rules, and then follow them. If you like the idea of me making my own breakfasts and my own lunches, there are videos on here of that, so you can go and check them out. Make sure you're liking the videos. Make sure you're subscribing to get more of what I'm doing here. Thanks for watching.